Hi friends, today we are going to discuss about incremental load with time period using parameter file. We had done a few occurrence with discussing the incremental load, but this one is completely it's close to the earlier discussion, but it's we are using the time period in specific because like the previous example we had used employee table with hire date and set max variable. We used to take the current session load and load the latest iteration, so after the first full load happens. But this time first most thing is the time period that is like the modified date we are going to consider. What is the latest modified date, and with that period we are going to consider. And next thing is we are going to parameterize. So when I say parameterize, so we are going to keep it the parameter file. From that we are going to read uh, the process. Okay, so as usual, like the first load will be with the default initial load date, and after that the parameter file will be updated with the maximum modified date. Based on that, the further occurrences it will be considered. So as we already discussed about incremental load, the benefits, everything, I'm giving a quick heads up again. So basically the benefits behind the incremental load, so it will reduce the overhead in ETL process, and any exception error prone issue comes up, so that time so it will be means like it's reduced since the record data alone only we are considering. The third point is accuracy of historical data for the given period of time tracked easily. When I say this to track the historical data, so we are based on the time period we are capturing. So for example, future or like for a particular month or particular quarter or particular yearly, you want to track down the history of the data, you can still track down. So today for our discussion, the implementation, what we are going to do is like, this is the mapping set we are going to implement it on source map source map transformation using EMP-INC on table, and this aggregation to get the maximum modified date from the source table. So based on the date, that will be passed into the expression to get as a string. That string will be passed to stored into CSV file. That CSV file is nothing but inc load.txt. Okay, once this is loaded, so in the session level, final in the session level we are going to pass the date filter parameter what we defined in the mapping side. Okay, so that parameter will be taken from the parameter file inc load param. So whatever the dollar date field we have, from that it will pick up the date information and it will process the thing. So when we say processing, the post processing, we are introducing the commands copyf.bat file. So this is sitting in the program files, Informatica Clouds agent and target files. Okay, so this is the section. So when I implement it, that time I will explain about the batch file and the param file, everything. Okay, let us go and jump into the implementation in the mapping side. Okay, so this is one quick mapping I already created. So if you see here, as I explained before, source, this is the EMPI underscore INC, and here we are filtering to ensure that we are only getting the latest modified information only. Okay, and we are sorting for safer side when we are before passing into aggregator transformation as a sorted information. Okay, that is the reason we are sorting as well. So then the aggregator transformation comes in picture. Here there is no group by information because we are going to pick up the maximum date from the source table. So when you say maximum, it's like this only: select max of modified date from emp underscore inc. So this is how, so you will get the maximum date the same behavior it will be in this aggregator transformation. You see that. So once we get the maximum transformation, what we defined it here, so then that will be passed into expression transformation. Here expression transformation that input field, once we get it, we are creating output port. So with the output port, this is dollar date field is equal to, we are giving a string literal. So with that we are appending the modify date with this formatting. So YYY format and HS24 minutes seconds, and this is milliseconds for three decimal position you will be seeing here. Okay, so once this is done, then finally it will be passed to target for CSV file creation. So this is the CSV file creation. If you see here, see, this is the file. Dynamically it will be created. It will be overwritten every time. Okay, so create a new runtime. Okay, and the formatting option side, you say text qualifier none, and this and all you can leave it as it is, not a big deal. So then yeah, so this is done. Then the target file, so this is one connection, and the second side is the target. Parallelly it will create a it will push the filtered data. So for first iteration, what will happen, it will load all the data. So see the parameter file, what will happen is, here see the parameter file, parameter I have defined this as date filter, but so this is the default date we are giving. But even though if you define in for mapping testing purpose, we can make use of it, but ultimately this is going to be read from the parameter file what we defined it, that is which I, as I explained before, so that INC load param file, which is going to hold the $date field parameter date value. Okay, so we are going to set the first run value will be 1970 0101 0000 with milliseconds. Okay, yeah, so based on that filtration only, the first occurrence what will happen, it will load entire data. Correct. So enter load data, it's going to load it based on this filtration and the sorting order. So one way this route will create a CSV file, the other way the filtered data, it will pass the data to the target based on that. For first iteration, as I told, it will be 1970-0101000000 and with a milliseconds of 00 with the filtration, entire record set will be pulled up. Okay, and the next iteration, the maximum date will be set here into the parameter file, that will be considered for the future iteration. If there is a new record or change record comes in picture based on this time period, it will be considered and filtered to load it into the target. So parallelly the INC load also will be get created. Okay, yeah, so let us try to reproduce the same thing with a new mapping. Okay, so the source file will emp_inc. Okay, and as I told, we can use the filtration, so we can what to say, Okay, so now the next thing is we can do the filtration part. Okay, so for safer side we can go back to the whole mapping and take the example. Okay, okay, and similarly we can introduce the column modified date for ascending order to sort it before passing into the aggregator transformation. So this is the first thing. The next thing, as I told, aggregator transformation. Here in this aggregator transformation, what we are going to do it, we are simply going to make use of, let us not use all the columns, we'll take only the modified date column alone is fine. Okay, so we can remove the old row. Okay, and the next thing is we can create a aggregator here with a date timestamp. Okay, so here we are going to use the max, correct? That's it. So now the next thing is we are going to introduce the expression transformation. Why? Because that will help us to format the date information into string. Okay, so again we'll go back to here and take the formatting. So to avoid the, okay, copy this. Okay, and here this is going to be string, right? So make 40 and apply the formula, and again that aggregation date incoming field is not necessary. If you want, you can remove that. Okay, okay, uh, yeah, that's it. And the last thing is we'll define the target. The target is going to be CSV file, and we'll select new incload.txt. okay, and the formatting section, you just make it none, the text qualifier, so that the double quotes will not appear. And yeah, you should be fine now. Okay, the first time. Okay, So yeah, I've already created, it's giving a warning, so I've deleted the file and created. Now the next thing is, first portion of the mapping is done. Then now the next thing is, one more target will introduce. This is the actual target for loading the actual data with a filter. Okay, so this sequence, as I told, this sequence is completely meant for CSV file creation, and this one is for loading into the actual target file. Now we have to introduce the target table. So now the target table, as we already know, is like t underscore emp underscore inc. Okay, so now you can do the field mapping. Okay, here this is the surrogate key I introduced for readability. We can introduce the sequence if you want. Okay, so I'm going to introduce a sequence here. Okay, so you can pass this into the target, and in the target now you can make use of the sequence column next val. Okay, that's it. The mapping is completed. Now you can try to save this. So now the one more important thing is validation panel. Okay, that this date filter, okay, the parameter we supposed to define it now. Yeah, it's $date filter, and oh sorry, it should not contain dollar. Okay, it should be so this is the formatting you need to do. As I told, for mapping testing purpose you can keep this default value. Since we are using parameter file, so the parameter file value, the default value will be taken. Okay, so you don't need to worry. Okay, so now let us try to save this one. Okay, the mapping is saved, valid and saved. So here the one more important thing, when you see here the difference is, usually the parameter we will define it with $, but in this case DateFilt dollar, we are representing the parameters it's going to consider from the parameter file. So that is the reason we are giving this format. You have to keep it in mind. Okay, that's it. So now we are good. If you want to explain you about the parameter file, see here. So this is how it will look like, parameter file. Okay, so what is default with what is the mapping you are running, mapping task, and global defined by, followed by the parameter information with parameter name and what is the value you are assigning. So what we are going to do is, we are going to set it to the 1970 0101 0000. So this value will be picked up in the runtime when we are running through the mapping task. That is the session. Okay, so this is done. So now let's go and create a mapping task. Okay, so here in this mapping task, okay, so let's try to create a mapping task now. So mapping task. Okay, this. Next, so here see, instead of default value you have to mention $date DateFilt. This is the parameter what we defined it, correct? The parameter name you have to define it. It will pick up from the parameter file. And the sequence is what we defined it for surrogate key, that one, that let it be. And here the interesting part is we have to define it the path. Okay, the two things, the post processing command, we have to mention it here very carefully. See the post processing command, copy this one and paste it here. Within the double quotes you have to mention it. And the parameter directory. Okay, and this is the parameter file. Okay, and rest all things are good. Only thing is, let me set the parameter to the default rate first time. So now the parameter date what I set is like 1970-0101 under this file in the secure agent running machine. Okay, so that's it. Now the mapping task as well created. Now we are ready to run it. One time we'll quickly run through what we done is fine. Okay, so source, aggregator, expression, target and sequence. Okay, target. Okay, we are good. Okay, so let us try to run this mapping task. And yeah, target files, target. Okay, and so as I told you, the first occurrence, it will pick up the date from the 1970-0101. So it should pull all the record from the source. Okay, so it will check for the condition greater than 1970-0101, right? So all 10 records what we have in source, we should get it as it is unloaded into the target. Okay, you see here the 10 records, the 10 records should be loaded. Okay, let us wait for it to complete. Yeah, so the 10 records have been loaded. You see 11 records. Why? Because this INC load text also got created. So now if you want to see in the inc load.txt, it will be with the 2023 1440. Okay, so this is how it will look like. Okay, so this is one good this inc cat inc load.txt. If you see here, so this is how it will look like. Okay, it will create it. Okay, then this date will be copied into. Okay, but basically my secure agent running different machine, but this is the old date it's appearing to be. But practically speaking, this is the date you will see it here, the final the maximum date. For example, 242 25 March 2023 03 25 242 14 42 25 428. That is the format you will see it in the target set. Okay, inc load.txt file, it will get created. That same thing will be reflected into the in load parameter param file. Okay, so what will happen next time if there is any change record or a new records comes in picture from the source side, the timestamp will vary, correct? Automatically the modified, if there is a change record, the create date will not affect, because the new record only the create record will come in picture. But the old record, the modified date will be changed, and similarly the new record also comes in, so that also create date plus modify record will be together. So with that understanding, whatever greater than this 242 or 25 428, it will you will get the data as a incremental. Okay. uh, so hope you got it. Now let us try to rerun it. Since there is no change, you will see zero records picked up. Okay, let us try to do that.